And then God said, let us record. Okay. All right. Here we are. We have made it to show number 5.
Right.
Can you believe this? That means a month and a week at least that we've been doing this.
Wow. That's an accomplishment.
So here we are, show number 5. I'm Lee.
And I am Paul.
And here we go. I suppose we should probably start off with, oh wait, there was something really cool that I wanted to talk about. Since we're starting here, first I wanted to say, we're into the 5th show. We wanted to let you know that there are ways that you can contact us. You can email us at beinghumanist.podcast@gmail.com. So far, no emails. But that's okay. I'm hoping they'll come soon. We're also available to, our podcasts are on YouTube, youtube.com/beinghumanistpodcast.com. Or, I'm sorry, youtube.com/beinghumanistpodcast. There is no dot between the Being Humanist and the podcast as everything else has it. And then we're on Facebook, facebook.com/beinghumanist.podcast. Just like that. We're also available on iTunes. I think 50% or more of their listeners are on iTunes, which is pretty cool.
Right.
And I wanted to point out, there was a really cool thing that happened. We got a review.
Right, yeah. Our first review.
We got a review.
And it was a good one.
And
for the most part.
it was good. They did us a solid. And I'm pulling this up here as I'm going through my iTunes, so forgive me for the ridiculous slowness as I go to search the store and look at Being Humanist. See, that's all you got to do is you got to go to the store, type in Being Humanist in the search bar on your iTunes player, and it'll automatically pull us up. This is pretty cool.
Right.
I'm a geek or something. It's like I'm excited about this, but hey, we're just 2 normal everyday guys, and we're on iTunes.
Right. Trying to get the message out.
So we have a review. We want to thank Silver and Sunshine, who the review starts out the title, "Thanks for the podcast." They give us 4 of 5 stars.
I'll take it.
They say, "I realize you guys are new at this, so I won't give you too much grief over the rough production." Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. They loved the conversation. It's so great to hear voices so in accord with my own thoughts. It's really not something I get to experience often in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys stick with this. I am looking forward to the next episode. I'm really not sure which episode they were referring to, but hey, that's cool. We're at 5 now.
Right.
Hoping you've listened to the previous 4 so far. And knowing that you guys are in Utah, might as well give a shout out. Check out Thank God I'm Atheist. Those guys are right there in Mormon country in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they are hilarious.
Great show.
Yes. So again, on iTunes, don't forget, you can email us at beinghumanist.podcast@gmail.com. We're on YouTube and Facebook. And maybe I'll mention that again at the end of the show.
Always good to remind them.
Yes. So how are you today, Paul?
I'm good. Pretty good. Standard day. Work. School stuff.
As you've decided again, you've decided to go back to school.
Right. Majoring in biology. And with hopes to continue afterwards. We'll see how that goes. Maybe even picking an area of expertise, something like embryology, evolution. Who knows? Evolutionary biology. I don't know if there's that actual area. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't get too far in my first go-round, so it's going to be a little bit before I'm getting into the concentrated courses on my major, but I'm going for the Bachelor of Science. So man, it is just science, science, science out the ass. I'm talking all kinds of chemistry. We're talking physics. We're talking tons of biology classes, obviously. But I guess you can call me a geek too, because I'm super pumped to get this bullshit out of the way so I can get to those science classes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've got a lot of math to catch up on, which, you know, obviously goes hand in hand with science. I used to be an English major when I was going to school before, and things change a lot in nearly a decade. I still love writing, and I feel like I'm a pretty decent writer.
I would say above average.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I just it's not my main area of interest.
That's awkward.
Anymore.
We have a cell phone ringing.
Yeah, stupid. Stupid. But anyway, yeah, I'm just stoked about it. I mean, I want to make a difference, you know, and I think English is a great area of study, but I feel like nothing makes a difference in this world more than science. And I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know, the problem, and the reason we need more people, more scientists, and more people interested in science is because we seem to have this contingency of maroons across the country that are trying to deter us from gaining more knowledge and interest in science.
That sounded very elitist of you.
Well, I'm not going to say that I don't come off as a little pretentious every once in a while. And I am not an expert, you know. I mean, I think I try, like, we put that in the notes last time. We talk, and we sometimes, I'm going off of what I've learned. And like I said, anytime somebody's listening and they hear something that I may have said that they think, hey, that's not quite right, you don't have that quite right, feel free to just come out and
email us.
Yeah, just say, hey, Paul, I'm sorry, but you weren't quite right on this. Let me correct you. And I'll thank you for that. I think I don't want to give any kind of bad information. Yeah. But thus far, I don't think I have. I've been very careful. I've tread lightly because I'm not an expert. I'm just working towards it.
That's right.
Yes.
You elitist bastard. I was actually kind of curious if you were going into a segue, a lead into what would be our first.
Well,
story.
you know, actually, speaking of that contingency, yeah, kind of. There's our first story involves a woman named Star Parker. She's something special. She is that now, and we got this story off of the Raw story. That's one of our go-tos. But anyway, the title of the story is "Christian Activist Warns: Obama Turning Us All into Pro-Gay European Zombies." And we do have, if we can either discuss a story, or if you just, the sound clip's pretty short, we could just go ahead and play that and go from there.
Excuse me, yes, this is correct. It's 1:43.
Okay.
Shall we go for it?
Yeah, let's just go. I mean, it's just easier than me reading from the story.
All right, let's go for this.
It's enough to make you think it's a political strategy, doesn't it?
It is absolutely a political strategy, but it goes beyond politics, because when you talk about trust and being able to trust, you want to know that you're received, and it's hurting us, and it will hurt us very deeply if we continue. So my point about the youth, because if they begin to distrust each other, then what we're going to see is more division. We're going to start seeing ourselves separated and segregated again, not just when it comes to ethnicity, but also when it comes to our religion. I mean, what this president has done to damage the Christian community, to where, and the laws that are coming out of states like California and others, you know, California just with this boy going in the girls' bathroom, but the laws of pushing homosexuality out into society, when you have this type of vileness exalted, the wicked go on prowl. That's what the proverb says. So in that the wicked can now go on prowl, people of resources, they pull away, and so they become much more private. So while you have ill activity now in the public square, you have those decent people in quiet communities becoming much more refined and more closed, and that's not healthy for us as a society. Because when you go start walking out in a public square and nobody talks to each other, that's what they do in Europe. They're just a bunch of zombies, and we don't want that as Americans. I wouldn't think. I think that one of the healths that has come from our the way that our founding documents are designed is that we get to debate, we get to connect with each other's lives. Right now, we're not connecting, and I'm very concerned about that.
I want to know if she's ever been to Europe.
Yeah, that would be interesting to find out because those sound like some pretty generalized claims there. I'd like to know what her source is or where she's gained this knowledge that people are walking around like zombies, that people aren't allowed to voice their opinions in Europe. I just find that very interesting. And basically what she's doing is she's claiming that a European-style democracy like we're seeing emerge in California is a threat to her religious freedom. That's the only thing that she's worried about. She thinks that Christians are in danger of being, well, they already think they're being persecuted, but she thinks that they're in danger of losing religious freedom if we move toward a more European model of democracy. Is that what you take from it?
Yeah, pretty much. It really takes me right back to Bill Maher's Real Time, where he talks about California kind of being on the leading edge, and eventually the entire country is going to swing that way,
right.
which I can't wait for.
Me either. And you see, there's another underlying motive that I think that she has in this when she brings up the LGBT community. She, and I'm not saying all Christians, but I am saying the right wing side of Christianity, they feel that if they're not allowed to discriminate against homosexuality and allow them equal footing with the rest of us, that their religious freedom is being attacked. They feel like part of their religious freedom is to be able to discriminate against these people because they go against the words of the Bible. And you know what? The thing is our government, as we have mentioned over and over, is a secular government. Mm-hmm. And Christians can continue to object to marriage equality, other religions, etc. Christians can still pray in school. There just can't be an official Christian prayer. It can't
right.
be. But parents have the option of homeschooling, private schools, if they would rather their children not be exposed to real science. And even if they're exposed to real science, the parent has the right to teach their children otherwise at home or at church. Mm-hmm. And what we are working toward, I feel, is the Christian right learning. We need them to learn that their perception of being able to persecute and discriminate against other tax-paying, contributing citizens of the United States is not an exercise of religious freedom. Now, they can have their personal disapproval, but being able to actually relegate these people into second-class citizens is not an exercise of religious freedom. That's just flat-out hate.
Which is not what Jesus taught.
No, not at all. And what was she? I don't know what she's talking about. Emotionless zombies. And those that place a high importance on equality are far from emotionless. If you think about it, I mean,
oh yeah.
Simply because we do not voice our disapproval with anger doesn't mean we're emotionless. We're displaying a much more positive form of emotion. It's called compassion. That's what they're supposed to have for other people.
Yeah.
I mean, they can have in their mind that I don't approve of their lifestyle. But why, if they're supposed to love their fellow man, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, regardless of what their lifestyle may be and regardless of how different that lifestyle may be from what you feel is the right way of living, why would you want to see that person have access to less than you?
Why do they keep bringing it up? I mean, seriously, to me, it's maybe it's just because it's this country, and we were a country as well founded by prudes, maybe. Mm-hmm. It seems like no matter how far we get, there's still somebody on the religious right who's trying to hold people back because it doesn't fall into their beliefs, even though their beliefs say judge not. I mean, it's if that's what somebody wants to do with their, I mean, if it's not hurting anybody, then leave it alone. How is any of this hurting you?
I agree. And now this is to that point. This is total speculation on my part. I don't know this. I don't have any kind of information to back this up. But and I hope I'm not generalizing, but I feel like one of the foundations of conservatism is basically they fear. I'm not saying it's a foundation of conservatism, but it's a part of conservatism is they fear change. They would like to. They want to find a comfort zone, and once they've got that comfort zone, they don't want to leave it, regardless of who it affects, regardless of how detrimental it may be to one group of people, as long as it's serving them.
It's like me going to my favorite restaurant and ordering the same food over and over again.
Right.
Sorry, I'm pretty conservative when it comes to my food.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Those are things that those little mundane things. It's okay to be conservative about because you're not harming anybody. Maybe yourself, because you keep eating those double quarter. I'm just kidding.
What is wrong with me?
I'm sorry. I'm Mr. Health Nut over here lately, but and I want to go back to one of her quotes here too. Back to but the laws that are punishing homosexuality out and pushing homosexuality out into society. When you have this type of vileness exalted, the wicked go on the prowl. That's what the proverb says. If the wicked can now go on the prowl, people with the resources will now pull away, and so they become much more private. Now, regardless of what she's saying there, the quote has no worth, and let me tell you why. She's quoting the Bible as a means to validate why we should continue to discriminate against laws protecting the LGBT community. And the Bible has absolutely no relevance in American lawmaking. Again, I'll repeat for I don't know how many times I've said this so far on the show, and probably yourself, this is a secular government. And aside from universal mores, whatever, such as murder, theft, other crimes that do actual harm to other human beings, exclusively religious laws have no place on the books. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to disagree with that.
Right, so stop throwing the Bible out because it doesn't matter. I understand that matters to you and your group of people that happen to take everything the Bible says literally and blah, blah, blah. That's fine, and that's fine for you to feel that way. But it can't be pushed on the entire country.
Literally and picking and choosingly.
Right. The country is not an exclusive club. It's not an exclusive club for Christians governed by Christian ideology. It's a nation of diversity.
Yes.
In which all citizens should be free from discrimination based upon any aspect that is beyond personal control. You know, if you can't discriminate against somebody that based on something that they can't change, and especially when it's not causing any tangible harm to any other citizen. The only harm that it's causing is in your dumb fucking brains.
When you're going, ew.
Exactly.
It's gross.
So this lady, you know what, I mean, she's obviously not somebody we're seeing on the national stage very often, but I wanted to talk about her because she unfortunately does represent
a good portion of the country.
She does. And that's bad.
Especially here in the Midwest.
Right, that's bad. Those people are bad for the country. People that are that far to the right. And you know what, I'm sure there are people that are, I'm not saying people on the left are
Can be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can be, I'd say we're pretty far to the left, but I'm sure you can go too far with that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, I guess if wanting everyone to enjoy the same life that I do as a white man.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire, a straight white man throughout the entire country, I think everyone, no matter race, sexual orientation, religion, lack of religion, we should all enjoy the same things in this country. And I'm not talking about the same opportunities. I'm not touting communism here or anything like that, or a hardcore socialism. Like, we obviously do think some socialism aspects of it work well when mixed with democracy.
Right.
But I just don't understand why you wouldn't want everyone to...
Because it's gross.
I think you're right. I think that's what it boils down to. And I think they have a reason. They have something to back up their just disgust for it. They have an excuse. They have I'm just practicing my religious freedoms.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, we think your disgust is disgusting.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Well,
Yeah. Do you have anything more to add to that
no, that's
story?
pretty
I don't.
much-
I just thought it was ridiculous.
I'm actually very excited to get to the next section here
Oh,
because one of everybody's favorite new pals, or at least may have been one of everybody's favorite new pals in the Republican Party, or at least the Tea Party area, the man probably solely responsible for our government shutdown,
Mm-hmm.
which happened a few weeks back. I think a lot of people are starting to distance themselves from the guy, and I think rightly so, Mr. Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
But if you want to know where Ted Cruz came from, you need to check out his father, Rafael Cruz.
This guy is way out there, and we've got to hope. Now, I have a fear that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I think that Cruz is internally just as nutso as this guy, but and you know what, we kind of downplay his strength as a politician, but at the same time we're fully aware that nominations are bought. If there's a corporation that's rich enough out there, if a Koch brothers like Ted Cruz or somebody else like that, and they want him to be the Republican candidate for president in 2016, he will be unless something changes. And by the way, I want to throw that out there. Wolf-pack.com. It's a very cool thing that's going on. It was actually, I don't know if it was actually created by Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, but he's associated with it. It's basically an effort to reverse Citizens United, which is...
needs to go down.
Yeah, which is... there's a petition that you can sign. You can become a member. You can donate. You can actually get active in it. We can't treat corporations as if they are a person, basically. And we need... Basically, what they're trying to do is make elections fair. We can't... They don't want... Congress... how much of our Congress do you think is bought?
Man, obviously I don't have this proof in front of my face.
Yeah, we're just speculating here, but this is obviously a problem, though.
But it seems kind of ridiculous that when you look at the campaign contributions and you are able to see who's donated to who, it's really pretty amazing how many corporations have donated lots of money to particular candidates. And even more so, I've run across bits where... I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't know. I don't have it from my face, but maybe Goldman Sachs, for instance, donates so much money to the Republican nominee and as well so much money to the Democratic nominee.
Right.
It's like, holy cow, these guys have split their money up between these two candidates in effect so that they win no matter what is what it would look like to me.
And since we're treating these corporations as...
People
and under Citizens United, and they're buying our politicians, whose interests are being served in this country? Not ours.
Yeah.
And that's why I definitely strongly encourage everyone to go to that website, wolf-pack.com. Do something. At least sign the petition. I mean, I'm not saying you have to donate money. I mean, I'm sure that's great to help them move forward, but it's something that has to be done. And Ted Cruz is obviously a guy that we don't want in the office, in any kind of office. And unfortunately, if we don't have much control over that. If he's the candidate, Republicans are going to vote for a Republican. And if enough people don't like the Democratic nominee because it's going to be the same two fucking parties again. We're still far away from that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If the Democrat's a lame duck, or well, not lame duck, but a lame candidate, there's a good chance a guy like Ted Cruz could actually slip in there. And I'm not saying he will, but we have to be leery of that. And the first step is getting rid of this bullshit.
Seems like a pretty good deal, Wolfpack.
Wolfpack, wolf-pack.com. So off of that though, so we came across another story from the Raw story. We owe these guys a lot of thanks, but it's in reference to Rafael Cruz, Ted Cruz's father. He has been making some outrageous claims and correlations.
Right.
We do have a clip if we would like to play that.
And welcome to the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds of your life.
You know, communism or socialism, whatever you want to call it, what's happening in this country is no different than what happened in Cuba. The procedure might be different. They may be a little slower, but it's the same thing. It is about government control of your lives. And you got to realize how Marxism, how socialism works. And we need to understand the issues. When you hear all these things about homosexual marriage, this has nothing to do with homosexual rights. Did you know that? The whole objective is the destruction of the traditional family. Has nothing to do with homosexuals. They could care less about homosexuals. They want to destroy the family. You need to understand, it's just like evolution. You know, most Americans have their head in the sand about evolution. I've met so many Christians that tell me, well, evolution is a scientific fact. Baloney! I am a scientist. There's nothing scientific about evolution. But you know something? Karl Marx said it. I can use the teachings of Darwin to promote communism. Why? Because communism, or call it socialism if you think communism is too hard a word, necessitates for government to be your God. And for government to be your God, they need to destroy the concept of God. That's why communism and evolution go hand in hand. Evolution is one of the strongest tools of Marxism. Because if they can convince you that you came from a monkey, it's much easier to convince you that God does not exist.
Wait, hold on. That's why communism and evolution go hand in hand. Evolution is one of the strongest tools of Marxism because if they can convince you that you came from a monkey, it's much easier to convince you that God does not exist.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They go hand in hand.
Yeah. You know, I don't know how much.
Oh, he's a scientist too.
Oh, yeah. You know, I actually kind of searched around. I Googled this, trying to find what scientific credentials Rafael Cruz has.
Uh-huh.
And I really I couldn't find anything. So I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that information isn't out there. But he's obviously not any kind of a reputable science.
You know what I would love to see happen? I would love to see a sit-down conversation with Raphael and Dawkins.
Oh gosh, that would be amazing.
Richard would tear that man apart.
Yes, and back to but Karl Marx. I don't know how much influence Darwin's writings had over him. I haven't really looked into that, but regardless of Karl Marx is just one man, for one thing, and communism is a whole, it's a whole idea of a government. I mean, it's just because even if Marx was influenced in any way. Now, the Communist Manifesto, it's worth mentioning, was actually published on February 21st of 1848, while On the Origin of Species was published on November 24th of 1859. So there's no way that Darwin would have had any, outside of Karl Marx being a time traveler, would have had any influence on the actual Communist Manifesto. So now I don't know if he maybe later on used Darwin's theory of evolution to bolster his case for communism in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe he did. Who cares? I mean, there's communism and evolution do not go hand in hand, and I think a lot of people have seen this graphic. It was in Science magazine, 2006, I believe, is when it was published, and it was a survey of acceptance of evolution, and they went with 32 countries, I believe, and they're countries that are considered at least semi-industrialized, civilized countries in the Western world,
Right.
and with a couple exceptions like Japan's in there, but sadly, the United States is second from the bottom of that list, just one spot ahead of Turkey, which has fundamentalist Islamic influence in their government.
Right.
But that's not the point. Now, I wanted to look at the top 5 countries that accept evolution. The highest acceptance of evolution in the world. Number 1 was Iceland. Let's see what their government model is. Representative democracy, parliamentary republic. So, okay. The highest acceptance of evolution in the world is in Iceland. Not a communist government.
That's 1.
Denmark. That's a constitutional monarchy. Okay. Not communism, right?
Right.
Okay. Sweden. Constitutional monarchy. That's number 3.
3. Tres.
France.
And yeah.
Semi-presidential republic. That's not communism.
Not communism.
Japan. Constitutional monarchy with also a prime minister. The emperor of Japan is more of a figurehead, more powers given to the prime minister, but it's parliamentary.
Similar to England,
Constitutional
Britain.
monarchy. Right. So that's the top 5 highest acceptance of evolution in the world. Not one of them has a communist government. Even if you want to keep going down, United Kingdom, that's number 6. Not a communist government. He correlated homosexual marriage with this communism as well. And oddly enough, some of those that are in the top percentage of acceptance of evolution also, a lot of those countries they recognize same-sex marriage.
Right.
And so you would imagine with these countries that both recognize marriage equality and have a high acceptance of evolution would probably be just crumbling. Like these would be, the people of these countries, they would be totally devastated to live there, but there's nothing they can do. They can't get out because they must just be under this really oppressive rule.
Right,
You know?
right.
I mean, nothing they can do about it, right? Isn't that basically on what Rafael Cruz says? That's what you would think, right?
Right, right.
But let's just kind of go through that. In 2013, there was and I'll go ahead and link all of these sources when we
To the show.
Yeah,
On the podcast,
this will be on the podcast. We'll put it when we put it up on YouTube, iTunes.
Right.
We're going to start doing that so you can see where we're getting this information from.
Right.
That's a good idea. But there's actually and you can check out this study. It's how they came up with who the happiest countries are. It's a really comprehensive study and it's very interesting. But coincidentally, of the top 10 happiest countries in the world. Now, these are the countries that definitely allow for homosexual marriage right now. Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, and Uruguay. And I think the United Kingdom was recently added to that list. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure they were.
I'm not positive either.
But coincidentally, Denmark, number 1 in the happiest countries in the world, not only do they allow for same-sex marriage, they're also the second highest in acceptance of evolution. Norway, number 2 happiest in the world. They are actually number 7 in acceptance of evolution in the world, and they allow for homosexual marriage. What's going on here?
Are you saying that Raphael's lying?
I don't know. Let's go a couple more examples. I don't know. I want to give this guy a chance.
Preacher.
I want to give this guy a chance.
He's a preacher. He's a man of God.
Right, and he wouldn't lie, would he?
No.
Okay. The Netherlands, homosexual unions are allowed in the Netherlands, and it looks like they are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 12th in acceptance of evolution, but they're also way above the 50% mark in that area. Like these top 20 of evolution acceptance are pretty high in their percentage of who accepts it. But they are also the 4th happiest country in the world. Canada, the 5th happiest country in the world. Same-sex marriage, not a communist country. We didn't mention that earlier. And they also happen to be on that list of people that have a high acceptance of evolution. We can just keep going. I mean, the point is that 5 of the top 10 happiest countries in the world accept evolution, and they do not have communist governments, and they allow same-sex marriage. And even going for like New Zealand, Belgium, Brazil, France, they all appear in the top 25 of the happiest countries in the world, allow for same-sex marriage and have a high acceptance of evolution. So, I'm sorry, Rafael Cruz, but you're a goddamn liar. And he knows that he's a liar, and he's speaking to people that don't know that he's a liar. He's speaking to people that have no real knowledge of what evolution is.
It's I'm going to let somebody tell me what to believe.
Right, and he's preying on fears. He's preying on people's fear of change, is exactly what he's doing.
Oh, and he's definitely taking the direction of, he uses his former homeland of Cuba.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that communist country of Cuba.
Yeah, he definitely says that there's no difference between what's happening here in the United States compared to what there was in Cuba when he lived there.
Nope, nothing. There is no difference. So what we hope is that Ted Cruz is a little less extreme than his father, but I just have this fear that he's not that far off.
Yeah, I don't. It's he's a dirty politician.
Yeah, and he can say all he wants. He can say that he wants freedom. He's just another theocrat. He's just another guy with a dream of theocracy for this country.
Which I'm sorry, but everybody's talking about having a democracy. That's not a democracy.
No, it's not.
That's not. It's not good.
There's nothing good about it, and so definitely wanted to highlight the insanity of Rafael Cruz.
More than anything, it's like we want you to know who Ted Cruz's dad is and where this is coming from.
Right, and these are likely the values that Rafael Cruz was instilling into his son, Ted Cruz, as a child on up. And you know how powerful childhood indoctrination can be.
Yeah.
Most people can't overcome it. Most people cannot fully overcome it, at least at this juncture. Luckily, I was able to. Poof. I think the flying spaghetti monster every day that I was able to.
Oh man, we may have to do a show on the flying spaghetti monster in the future.
That would be fun. We could make it silly.
Yeah.
Silly.
I mean, I think I think one of my fears might be, I mean, our show is being humanist, and I think we need to try to be a little more positive sometimes. I think we do tend to find the scary stories, and I think we have to talk about those.
Yes.
But I think it might not be a bad idea to kind of, even it out a little bit.
Right. You're probably right, and I think the thing is the reason that we find these awful stories is we realize that element of our society has to be weakened before we can become a more humanistic society, before we can become a more caring society that actually...
Yeah. It's, I think, basically kind of goes back to the previous show where, I mean, honestly, it's, we have to stand up. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think too many of us who consider ourselves humanists, who care about one another, we need to start saying, hey, look, this is who I am, and need to be unafraid of it, because if we don't, we're going to keep electing people like Governor Pence. There's just too much of this stuff happening. There's, we need all of you, all of our listeners, everybody who feels this way. We got to stop being so scared.
Yeah, and that includes me, obviously. I'm using a fake name here.
I am too.
But
how much of a pussy am I?
we'll cross that bridge. I mean, we'll
have a big coming out party.
We are trying to put our voices out there, and we do still run the risk of our voices being recognized. It doesn't. You know what? Sometimes I just wish that some people that I would just stumble upon these things, just so it would be easier for me to just, oh, well, I'm busted.
Yeah.
But it's probably better if I just am honest and say, Mom, Dad, I don't really believe in that stuff,
You ever heard of this flying spaghetti monster?
Just a real quick comment on Mike Pence. How he's pushing for that constitutional ban of same-sex marriage within Indiana's state constitution. I like how so many businesses and educational institutions are coming out and saying, hey, we don't support this. This is not good for Indiana.
President McRobbie of IU.
Yeah, he was one of them. There were a couple other. DePaul was another Indiana college that came out. The Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce, that was huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember
that. Basically, what they're saying is, hey, we don't want to do that because we want people to come to Indiana. If we're barring people from wanting to come to Indiana because the
short of it is there are a lot of very intelligent and talented homosexuals.
Right. They're actually, other than their sexuality, absolutely no different than anyone else.
No, not at all.
And that's just, why?
And even at the idea that they're attracted to the same sex, it's still love.
It is love.
What's different? I mean, I dare you to go. Maybe I don't need to go down this road, but it's just I'm sorry. There's just no difference.
Yeah, I don't really give a crap if you get the willies from the sexual act, but you can't argue with love. We all feel it. And you'll get something every once in a while from a Christian. It's like, oh yeah, where does love come from? It's like, well, you can't automatically say God. That's their answer for everything. But anyway, do you think we should go to right wing?
Is that where we are?
Right wing watch roulette. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're already there.
Right wing watch roulette.
Yeah.
We really need to come up with a little push button noise sound effect for this. We're just lazy.
We need a soundboard.
Yeah. Dude, that would be awesome.
Heck yeah, we could probably create our own soundboard.
So this is what we're going to have to do in the near future. I'm going to try to set up a way to donate money to the show so that we can be a little more insane.
Yeah.
So that we can...
Better production.
Get some better mics. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to buy some stuff and just keep talking. And hopefully, we can start inviting more people on the show because there's some people we want to bring in and talk about certain things.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So keep your ears open for that.
And we are not rich men.
No, we're definitely not rich men. I mean, poor college student.
Yep.
In fact, you just lost or you're being removed from your job.
Permanent layoff, basically.
Yeah.
Severance package, see you later.
Going into the service industry with
Yeah.
restaurantism.
Going back to waiting the tables. And I'll have to give everybody an update in a couple of months when I have to sign up for the healthcare marketplace and see if I have any horror stories about that.
Oh, the Obamacare.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all the bad things. I think they're skewed in some cases, but I also think there is some truth to some of it. But that's for another.
That's another show. So, right wing watch roulette.
Mm-hmm.
It is that time. This is a good one too.
Sure is.
Oh man, we hope you enjoy.
Let's see, I think this is in the White House. A Hindu festival for the goddess of wealth. So we have the First Lady hosting a Hindu festival. This is a counterfeit religion. It's an Eastern religion. It is, in essence, an occult religion. It's a counterfeit, a false alternative to Christianity. It ultimately represents the doctrine of demons. That's what you have with Hinduism. And now this has been being celebrated in the White House with a Hindu festival. So this Lakshmi, this is just the name of a demon now that has been invited into the White House by the First Lady. So that's going on this day in the White House. You know, one of the things I suggested in a tweet last week is that what we need to do is we need to elect a president, a Christian president in 2016, who will bring clergy together to go through the White House and purify that place, spiritually cleanse that place of everything that has been honored there, that's been invited in to that place over the last 5 years, and it will be 8 unless something radical happens.
Oh, so basically spells Christian style. White magic. Oh, we don't want to hear from him. We almost had Glenn Beck's voice. He's almost too crazy to even pay heed. But anyway, we're not talking about Glenn Beck. That was Brian Fisher. He's a conservative radio host, obviously very Christian. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Mike? Oh.
Uh-oh.
We need to back that up.
I don't know whether I should just take it.
You could. Wow. You can either keep it or we can just back it up.
Screw it, I'm taking it.
Okay. So I just accidentally revealed the first name of Lee, air quotes going on here. And apparently he's just going to let it roll.
I'm getting less and less worried about it as it is.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm just gonna, what the hell? You may now, from this day forward, refer to me as Mike.
So it's Mike and Paul. Son of a bitch, what an ass I am. Hey, you know what? You know somebody by one name all your life. It's bound to happen. You may do this to me at some point, too.
I know. I've had to check myself numerous times.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
My identity is out. I am Mike.
I'm sorry, Mike. Hey, at least it's easier for me. You're the one who has to remember a fake name now.
What happens if you call me Lee again?
I probably won't now. If you're rolling with it, I'm rolling with it.
We're going with it. So
Right, we're talking about Brian Fisher. All
Brian
right.
Fisher.
And what do you think about this?
Was it Hindu? Was it Hindu?
Yeah, Hinduism.
Hinduism.
Mm-hmm.
Religion of many gods, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a polytheistic religion.
Yes. I don't know much about Hinduism. I think it's a peaceful religion.
Yeah, it may be at its core, but the adherence of it, if you look at the waging of war between India and Pakistan over the years,
Well,
No, I mean, but who knows? I mean, that's Islam versus Hinduism there.
Yeah. I think what it comes down to is this guy thinks that Michelle Obama, the first lady, has let demons into the White House.
Which is just batshit crazy.
Which, to me, to be honest, that means that he's already acknowledging with that, I think, because I'm sure that he feels this way, but he didn't say it, that they're demons themselves.
I'm sure he thinks that.
But he didn't acknowledge it.
No.
And going in and blessing the White House to rid it of these Hindu
The power of
demons.
Christ compels you.
Man, sometimes I'm just totally, completely blown away by the idea that anybody thinks that you're letting demons. I mean, seriously, this is like.
Not only do they think
It's
he's
magic.
right, and not only do they think he's letting demons in, he thinks there is demons.
Right now, Satan's laughing at us.
Yep, you're right. Satan's sitting there, he's smiling. Black Sabbath.
Oh man, we should totally use that. Should be a theme song.
Yeah, that's.
You know how awesome that song is.
Dun, dun,
That's all about government. But I'm going on a total tangent here, but government basically sending the poor in to fight their battles.
Are you thinking of War Pigs?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I was actually singing the song Black Sabbath, which is.
Damn. Okay, I feel like a moron.
Hey, it's okay.
Moron. You should all listen to Black Sabbath.
They're a hell of a band.
Yeah. So anyway,
Well,
what were your thoughts?
well, for one, Brian Fisher calls Hinduism a counterfeit religion.
Yeah, because they were born in India.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
yeah.
And obviously, yeah, to me it is a counterfeit religion because they're all counterfeit because none of them are real. But
I think, I'm sorry, but I think in a sense this is really a humanistic value that Michelle Obama is displaying, which is we accept you for who you are.
yeah,
Just come see us and see what we're about.
right. And the Hindu population is probably very small in the United States, and for her to invite somebody from that faith into the White House I think that's very, very generous of her, and I think it's very, you're right, it's very humanistic of her. And the point is Hinduism is widely known as the oldest living religion in the world. Polytheism predates monotheism. You can find that in any history book.
Well, absolutely. I mean, when you think about Greek mythology,
Yeah.
or is that what
Norse
mythology.
Norse mythology.
Mythology.
Yeah, the
Christian mythology.
yeah.
Or will it be Abrahamic?
Abrahamic mythology that we're covering the whole spectrum there. That'd be Judaism, Christianity, Islam,
Yeah.
and Mormonism if you want to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, and that's funny. I mean, Hinduism is the oldest living religion, and Christianity wasn't founded until the first century A.D. And also, let's point out that, and you can check this anywhere online, and Pew Research is obviously something everybody knows about. And as of July 2012, this Pew Research poll showed that Christians make up 31.59% of the world. So according to Brian Fisher, 68.41% of the world is wrong. They're either godless or following a counterfeit religion. 68.4% of the world.
You're going to hell.
Yeah, so 68.4% of the entire world is going to hell in Brian Fisher's eyes. And let's not forget that Pew Research. How many of those people say they're Christians but aren't really practicing? Mm-hmm. Those people, according to fundamentalist Christians, are also going to hell.
Right.
Non-practicing Christians, or moderate Christians, or liberal Christians, or cool Christians. But
We love you, cool Christians.
so, I mean, that's right there. That's typical fundamentalist hubris, exhibiting absolutely no ability to be humble about anything involving the religion of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That guy's pathetic, so I don't have much more to say about him.
Sometimes I wonder if we're giving these guys credibility by even mentioning them.
I think, in a sense,
I think it's just it's humorous. That was humorous.
I don't think we're giving them credibility. I think that we are highlighting the most extreme elements of something that is dangerous.
Yeah.
And we want people to laugh at it. We want people to think that's so ridiculous. Because the more people realize, wow, these people are really pretty loony, that weakens that element of our society, and we need that element to be weakened because they're just it's regressive. It's regressive thought, and and it's going to do nothing but impede our progress scientifically, socially, you name it.
You know, basically, I think you could go that they are trying to take us back into the Dark Ages.
Yes, they are. Exactly. And if they actually did somehow seize rule of the United States, we would go back into a dark age. We would be like that's what the Middle East is going through right now. A lot of countries out in the Middle East, you know, they're being suppressed in terms of progress. I mean, and we don't want that here. And that's why these people, they spit their vitriolic hatred toward those Muslims, those evil Muslims in the Middle East. Don't even treat they kill their own citizens. They blah blah. Well, if we're going to go by biblical rule, we're going to have to start killing citizens too. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm afraid that these people, if they got into a position of power, and they actually started to use the Bible as the law of the land. Now this is obviously totally hypothetical, and I don't really think it's going to happen. But what would keep this country from becoming another Middle East?
I just shuddered.
The Christian version.
I totally just shuddered.
Yeah. That's why I think it's important that we do what we do. It's and that other people like us in the same vein do what they do. Just because, yeah, it's probably not likely that that's ever going to happen, but we need to remain vigilant. We need people to blow the cover off of that bullshit, and I think that's why we do hit guys like Brian Fisher and whoever else we like, that coach Dave Daubenmire that we talked about a couple weeks ago. He was the one that was saying, "Who are you to judge if we're all the body of Christ?"
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So yeah, we want people to laugh at guys. They deserve ridicule. They do not deserve respect. Maybe as human beings, essentially as human beings down to the basis level, sure, they deserve that respect. Yeah. But their beliefs do not deserve respect. I totally agree with Richard Dawkins when he says, "I do not have to respect your beliefs. Beliefs are up for criticism just as much as political opinions." Mm-hmm. So fuck you. All right.
Is that a turning point? Is that a segue into the next?
Sure, why not? Now this was one that you found. This next one, it was David Barton.
Yes, it's wait, am I?
The Salon.com article.
Oh, okay. I think I've moved ahead too far, or I didn't put myself. Yes, I found this. How did I run across this? I think I ran across it today, actually. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who is he's a Christian historian. His name is David Barton. I ran across this. This is a guy who is, I believe, running for a Senate seat. Is that what it is? Dang it. Where is it? Potential Senate candidate David Barton explains how abortion caused climate change. This is on Salon.com. Again, the headline: Potential Senate candidate David Barton explains how abortion caused climate change. Let's hear what the man has to say. This will be good.
I bet.
You open that door, floods are under the curse, tornadoes are under the curse, murderers, pedophiles, all of these things, all of that's under the curse. Abortion was a seed to it that has grown into a murderous, bloody crop of child death. And it doesn't stop with abortion, it goes on. Man, hey, all ages.
Thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, And whether that killing is through abortion or drugs or suicide or anything else, you open the door to killing. It's got a lot of different manifestations, but that's the problem. If you choose leaders who say, oh, I support killing, come, we've opened the door to all of it. You get the whole thing. When a nation does something bad, it gets judgment or it gets blessing right now
On
in
the
the present.
spot.
On the
Yes,
spot.
sir.
Which is why policies matter. Because if you take a bad policy, you get judged for it on the spot. If you take a good policy, you get blessed for it on the spot.
David, storms and hurricanes and unimaginable murders and mass murders and all of that doesn't just happen.
It doesn't just happen. A door has been opened, and we have said, you know, we embrace a wicked policy. Okay, then I'll take my hand of protection off your nation, and whap, here comes storms like we've never seen before, and here comes floods and here comes the climate stuff that we can't explain, all the hot times and all the cold times, and too much rain and not enough rain, and we're flooding over here, and we got droughts over here. And you know, back in the early America days when something like that happened, first thing they did was issue a call for a national prayer day of repentance, humiliation, fasting, and prayer.
That fixes everything.
We have screwed up somewhere.
Yes,
We've
let's
got to
reverse.
get God's help to get blessings back on this nation. And they would humble themselves before God. And today we're saying, oh no, it's global warming. That's what, no. We opened a door that lost God's protection over our environment. And that's our choice.
Yeah.
What did he say? Oh crap! What did he say in the beginning?
Barton or the other guy?
Oh, it was when you open the door to allow killing. I wonder if they support the death penalty.
I bet you they do. I bet you they do. Well, there's where the Bible contradicts itself again. There's an eye for an eye, and then also God says, vengeance is mine. We're not to take revenge, but...
I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's Bible tells me to do this, and then it tells me to do this. I'm freaking out a little bit. Can't take it anymore.
You know what? There is a reason that we don't go back to a national day of prayer, because it doesn't do anything. And who says that because we used to do something we should do it now? Maybe there's a reason we're not doing it anymore.
You know. Yeah.
Give him credit.
Abortion causes climate change.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, I can't believe he actually acknowledged that there is climate change happening. So I guess for some, give him credit for not at least denying that the weather
is messed up,
is changing. But what he's doing is reaching back into the Dark Ages for an explanation. So of course, since he doesn't understand what the actual cause of it is, God did it. The natural fundamentalist reaction.
God did it.
God did it. That tears it. And there's another graph that you can. I mean, the difference though between today and the Dark Ages is we know that climate change is happening. You can go to data http://data.giss.nasa.gov/GISTEMP. There's a graph there that obviously shows you, and if you don't want to write all that down, we'll probably we can link it.
I'll be very curious to know if people are typing that as they're hearing it.
Right, and I have another source that can back this up, and not only do we know that it's happening, we know what is causing it. We are the cause. At this time, scientific consensus has reached over 90% in certainty of this fact, and so he is still ignoring that part of it. At least he's acknowledging something's happening, I guess, but he's ignoring that we're causing it. Oh, I guess he's not. No, he is. He's saying we are causing it.
Yeah, because we have abortion. You killing babies.
No, sir. We're
gonna make the weather go bad.
We have real world data of what's causing it. We have real world, and this is something that can be tested. So screw you, buddy.
I know that this is a touchy subject, abortion, but
it is. I mean,
I'm sorry. You're killing babies. The weather's gonna go wiki on you.
Yeah. Regardless of if it settles with you or not, the allowance of abortion it's not changing the weather. Let's be realistic here.
Oh, I gotta say, if that works, it works for the death penalty too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So basically, if you think about if this Barton guy is, if he represents a possible shift in maybe he does, like if he's accepting that climate change is happening, if maybe he's representing a possible shift in acceptance of climate change among the religious right. But unfortunately, that's going to lead to more outlandish and untestable claims for why it's happening. May I remind everyone, this is the year 2013.
Okay, not only is this man a Republican, which doesn't mean anything. There are good Republicans out there. He is a potential political senator. He's a potential senator, and he is challenging John Cornyn, who is a Republican for guess which state? Texas.
Oh, what a surprise.
I know there's great people down in Texas.
There are, and I don't want to...
Wendy Davis.
Wendy Davis. There was that other woman that, I can't remember her name, but she was the one that was removed from the floor during a hearing for... she was really coming down hard on the woman that was running do you know who I'm talking about? Bill Maher had her as a guest on Real Time.
I might have to check this out.
I can't remember her name. I'll try to remember that. I'm sure somebody if there's anyone listening, will. Obviously there are. We're getting downloads, so.
We're getting downloads.
Right.
Thank you so much, all of you, for downloading our show. It could suck it sometimes, I'm aware. I don't know. We listen to ourselves. We're like, we're getting better.
Yeah,
we could be better.
I think it's important for us to listen to ourselves because we can hear where we're screwing up and where we should improve. Before we move on, unless you got anything to say.
No, I think the guy's an idiot, and I hope Wendy Davis and all those other smart, intelligent people in Texas put an end to it.
Okay, I agree with you on that. Let's go Wendy Davis. But now, what all of these people that we've highlighted today have in common is they're theocrats. They want this country to be run by Christian rule.
Right.
They want Christian, and they want public prayer. They want National Day of Prayer. They want like a big showy Christian fellowship going on throughout the United States. So may I remind them of Matthew 6:5 and 6. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray, standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily, I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Okay.
Are you using the Bible against them?
I am. Obviously, I don't believe that happens in either case, but if you're going to follow your book, it says plainly right there, you need to be a little more private about your faith.
Yeah.
Stop being showy.
Right.
Stop pushing it on all of us. There are even parts of the Bible that clearly, yes, your Bible does ask you to evangelize, and it does ask you to spread the good news. Yeah, the good news. But it also basically says that's you tell them, you plant the seed, you walk away. You don't persist. You don't push. You don't force. You don't ram it down our throats. Those are the words. That's what Jesus taught. You people can't call yourself Christians if you don't act like Jesus Christ. You're not Christ-like. You people are tyrants. You disgust me.
Wish I had a table to bang on. Here,
Yeah.
here.
Okay. There's one. And do you really think, honestly, if Christians did conduct themselves in the way of our buddy James, this show wouldn't be necessary?
Oh, I agree. I mean, hell, I may disagree with your belief and think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I follow this logic of science and testing and whatnot, and thinking about how vast our universe is, and just all the interesting, wondrous aspects of this earth. I just, if you're someone who we consider a cool Christian, I'm all about it. I mean, that's cool. You're not causing any harm. I just hope that one day you come to the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd like that too, but I don't want to force that.
No,
if you're a rational person, and if that's something that helps you get through the day, and it's something that helps you, it gives you that feeling of comfort and whatever it takes to get you ahead, but you can't make it everyone else. You
Don't
can't-
judge.
Right, exactly.
Don't judge and don't hate.
Exactly. And there are two verses that speak right to that. Judge not lest you be judged yourself, and there's also do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
My goodness, what perfect. Two of my favorite little parts from the Bible.
Yeah, those, and I'm not going to say there aren't, we've never said that the entire Bible is this disgusting. I mean, a lot of it's disgusting, but it does have some nuggets of wisdom in it, and as does every other religious text.
All right.
I don't know about the next video. I think we've been pretty somber.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think about?
Should we move right to the end?
Do you think we've done enough show?
We're at an hour and 11 minutes.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah. The one that we were going to do is called A Letter from Hell. I ran across it the other day from a friend of mine who posted it on Facebook, and I think it kind of centers on Pascal's wager, and it's about 5 minutes long. It's a long clip.
Let's save that for the next show.
Maybe.
I would like to get to that.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I mean, I think we both have a lot of things to say about
Yeah.
Pascal's wager. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been refuted a million times over. Actually, our second show, the Dawkins clip that we played at the end, kind of played on Pascal's wager a little bit. What if you're wrong?
Right.
About the great Juju at the bottom of the sea.
God, I love him.
And just real quick before we wrap up, I'd like to take this opportunity to promote and plug an excellent, excellent book. It's called Why Evolution is True by Jerry A. Coyne. I have never read a book that so fluidly explains the theory of evolution. This guy has a way with words. I had an understanding of evolution prior to reading the book, but I came away with an even stronger understanding after this. I mean, this guy really lays it out there. His purpose when writing this was he tried as hard as he could to make it a neutral approach of understanding the theory of evolution, and wants creationists to read it. And he kind of gives examples of how this would not make sense for special creation in several instances of things that are scientific fact. Like, we're talking about, like, continental drift and things like that. And
Tectonics.
yeah, I mean, so definitely check that out. Again, that's Why Evolution is True by Jerry A. Coyne. I used to think The Greatest Show on Earth was my favorite evolution book because I love Dawkins, but unfortunately Mr. Coyne or Dr. Coyne, I'm sure, he's a professor at Chicago University.
Okay.
But even Dawkins throws high praise for this book. I mean,
it's Dawkins.
yeah. I mean, obviously we have, Dawkins is revered in our community because he's the most vocal within our community now that Christopher Hitchens is gone.
Yes. The most famous of atheists, is some like Bill Maher would say.
Right. And Bill Maher's pretty high up there too.
Yes.
He can be a little bit smarmy sometimes, as can Dawkins, but
Yeah.
I think Dawkins is a little more eloquent than people give him credit for.
But he's also brutally honest, and I think that people take offense to that, which is depressing.
He is. It's just like when he was on Real Time, he had said...
Rash.
Yeah, he said that people are put off by clarity.
Yes, yes.
Like, when someone says what they really mean, that really makes people uncomfortable. Like, they want a tap dance. They want sugarcoating.
It just doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
I wish we could just be honest, but and I can be honest, but I wish I could be honest without the fear of losing relationship with people I love.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Paul.
yep. Sorry about that, Mike.
I've been outed.
Yeah, it's my fault.
That's all right. It needed to happen. It wasn't the coming out that I wanted, but it was still good.
Yeah, well,
I wanted a whole show centered around my coming out.
we could still do that.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not, I mean, it's not really, if you think about it, an official coming out because,
All they know is my first name.
yeah, and also not a lot of people that we know are really listening to the show.
This is true. But it'd be cool if they were.
Yeah, they'd recognize my voice immediately.
Yeah. So we'll leave that. Well, in time. Due time.
Yeah.
So, it is toward the end of the show. I want to point out one. I'm super pumped about this. I was walking through my place of work, a university, and I happened across one of my favorite professors, and she's probably listening to the show, which is pretty cool. Thanks, Christine. I just happened to run into her and a particular student who wanted to start a secular student alliance on the campus, and I couldn't be happier.
Great.
This is pretty fantastic. He's got the Flying Spaghetti Monster on posters, on flyers all over the campus, which a lot of people are asking about. It's like, what is this? What is this thing? What does this mean? So, that's happening. They've actually got a call-out meeting starting tomorrow, which is in the past for those who are going to be listening to the show because it takes me about a week or so to even get to edit the show. But it's going to happen. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully people show up. I think the cool thing about it is that it's obvious that there are people who are just like you and I, who are here, who are running around amongst us. No matter how alone you feel you are, most likely there are people around you who feel the same way, who believe the same things, who know the same things. So, shout out to Christine and this other student named Mike. Great job. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And I think, again, this is Being Humanist. This is our 5th episode. You can email us at beinghumanist.podcast@gmail.com. Again, beinghumanist.podcast@gmail.com. Please send us your emails. Tell us about things that you like or dislike about the show, things that you might want us to add, or things like that, or things that you might want to talk us to talk about a little bit more. Especially, I've thought about doing a humanist quotes show or something. Just talking about the good stuff, the people who like, especially reading from people like Sam Harris or Kurt Vonnegut and whatnot. I mean, there's some
Sagan's
really good
got a
stuff.
boatload of them.
Sagan, absolutely. Sagan.
Sagan.
So there's that. We're on youtube.com/beinghumanistpodcast, and we're on facebook.com/beinghumanist.podcast. Please come to our Facebook page and like us, because we could really use the likes, and it's being weird not being able to really promote the show as much as we'd like to, because we're trying to save face in an area of, not wanting to be discriminated against, I suppose is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
On that note, thanks again to, I believe, was it Silver? What was your name? Sorry. Silver and Sunshine, for commenting on our iTunes podcast. You were awesome. And let's move on. Let's end the show with one of our childhood heroes.
Yes, sir.
Who is causing a lot of ruffles these days, causing people to storm out of auditoriums because he talks about the moon not being an actual light. It's a reflector.
How dare he? How
We
dare he
believe in
speak
God
fact.
in these parts. So anyway, I'm Mike.
And I'm Paul.
And you're listening to Being Humanist. Thanks for listening, and keep thinking.
Keep thinking.
Keep thinking, keep learning, keep researching, think for yourself. And enjoy this final clip from our hero, Mr. Bill Nye.
Denial of evolution is unique to the United States. I mean, we are the world's most advanced technological, you could say Japan, but generally the United States is where most of the innovation still happens. People still move to the United States. And that's largely because of the intellectual capital we have, the general understanding of science. When you have a portion of the population that doesn't believe in that, it holds everybody back, really. Evolution is the fundamental idea in all of life science, in all of biology. It's very much analogous to trying to do geology without believing in tectonic plates. You're just not going to get the right answer. Your whole world is just going to be a mystery instead of an exciting place. As my old professor Carl Sagan said, when you're in love, you want to tell the world. So once in a while, I get people that really, that claim they don't believe in evolution. And my response generally is, why not? Really, why not? Your world just becomes fantastically complicated when you don't believe in evolution. I mean, here are these ancient dinosaur bones or fossils. Here is radioactivity. Here are distant stars that are just like our star, but that are at a different point in their life cycle. The idea of deep time, of this billions of years, explains so much of the world around us. If you try to ignore that, your worldview just becomes crazy. It's just untenable, self-inconsistent. And I say to the grown-ups, if you want to deny evolution and live in your world that's completely inconsistent with everything we observe in the universe, that's fine. But don't make your kids do it, because we need them. We need scientifically literate voters and taxpayers for the future. We need people that can, we need engineers that can build stuff, solve problems. It's just really a hard thing. It's really a hard thing. You know, in another couple centuries, that worldview, I'm sure, it just won't exist. I mean, there's no evidence for it. So.